All righty, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admission Officers Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us tonight. So before we get going, I'm going to go through a few housekeeping announcements. As an attendee, you can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. I highly recommend using that when any little question pops into your head, and our panelists here would be more than happy to get those answered for you. Your camera and your microphone are off, so our panelists can't see or hear you. That being said, the only way to get those questions asked and answered is that Q&A button, so feel free to use it whenever. There are no more sessions happening tonight, so you can ignore that third point, but there might be more in the future, so you can keep an eye on strivescan.com/Carolinas. And that website, strivescan.com/Carolinas, will also have the recordings of tonight's sessions as well in a few days. So feel free to check that out if you miss anything here or if you miss any other sessions. So without any further ado, I am going to introduce our first university, East Tennessee State University.
Hey everybody, my name is Taylor Forbes and I am the North and South Carolina Admissions Counselor here at ETSU. Thanks for tuning in tonight. If you've got questions throughout, definitely put them in the Q&A and I'll do my best to answer them. But I'm going to jump in really quick. First thing I'm going to talk about is our brand new out-of-state tuition reset. It's been a huge deal. It's starting this fall 2021 for any student who is from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, or Virginia. And it's $10,500 per year, which is a huge deal. It's really close to what our in-state students pay. So awesome opportunity for students from North and South Carolina. ETSU itself is located in Johnson City, Tennessee. We're up in the northeast corner of the state, about an hour north of Asheville, hour and a half west of Boone, or about 2 hours from Spartanburg. So a pretty good location relative to the Carolinas. Johnson City itself is home to about 63,000 people, pretty good sized town. We got plenty of stuff to do, movie theaters, bowling alleys, tons of places to hang out on the weekends or after class, but we're still in the mountains. So if you want to get out and hike and bike or do something kind of outdoorsy, there's plenty of options for that. And it's just a really nice place, a beautiful area. ETSU, it's a major university with a small college feel. So we have about 15,000 students, which is what I call a Goldilocks school because it's not too big or not too small. We anywhere between like 13 and 18,000 students, you're going to be able to get some of the perks of going to a bigger school without missing on some of the advantages of going to a smaller school. For instance, we have an average classroom size of 23, and we have a faculty to student ratio of 15:1. So you're not just a number and you do get to know your professors, which is always really nice. Our campus, we have a 360-acre arboretum. It's beautiful. There's kind of an overview of it with that picture. We've got 5 miles of hiking and biking trails on campus, and we've done over $250 million in construction over the last 2 years, which is a huge deal for a campus of our size. We got a brand new student center, brand new Martin Center for the Arts. It's got a 1,200 seat auditorium in it. It will have student-led productions as well as Broadway, professional Broadway plays that tour through Johnson City. We are doing in-person tours. To sign up, you can go to etsu.edu/visit. We're doing Monday through Friday, 4 times a day, and we have some Saturday dates. If you want to check out our virtual tour, you can go to this URL down here at the bottom. I'll have that up at the very end as well. We're a little bit different in schools of our size in that we don't require our freshmen to live on campus. Most do, especially out-of-state students. I did as a freshman, and I definitely think it helped my long-term success as a student. But we have 10 residence halls, all kinds of different styles. Everything is first come, first serve, so we don't stick you in like a freshman residence hall compared to a upper classman residence hall. You get to bring your car your first year. It's not an extra fee. We do have living and learning communities on campus. That means that if you want to live with other students who are studying the same thing or have the same kind of interest, you can do that. If you're living on campus in one of our more expensive options and you have an all-you-can-eat meal plan, you're going to look around $9,000 per year for room and board. And then 35% of our students who live on campus make the dean's list every semester. So we're pretty proud of that. And like I was talking about before about the size of ETSU, one of the perks is that you're still going to get a student experience and a really awesome student experience. We have over 250 student organizations, and they range from everything like fraternity and sorority life, student government association, all the way through hobby clubs, faith-based organizations, and all kinds of other stuff. Intramurals are a really big part of our school too. We have over 400 intramural teams. You can play everything from your traditional sports like flag football or volleyball, all the way through table tennis, board games. We even have a rock, paper, scissors tournament. So that's kind of cool. We're also big enough, we still pull in major concert acts that are free for our students. Right before COVID happened, Scotty McCreery was here. We've had everybody from Maroon 5 all the way through Carrie Underwood. And our students actually get to vote on who comes to campus and performs. So that's another kind of cool thing that's going on at ETSU. We are an NCAA Division I school. So if you're into sports, it's a great place to be. All of our events are free for students. We don't put you in any kind of athletic lottery or charge an extra fee to your account. Everything is free. It's first come, first serve. If you're interested in playing, you can always go to etsubucks.com to fill out a recruitment questionnaire or look up some of our prospect camps. So we have over 150 different programs, and they're all over the place. They're spread out between 10 different colleges. The things that we're most known for are ETSU health programs, where we offer more comprehensive health science programs than any other college in the United States. We have an AACSB accredited business school, which means we're in the top 5% of all business colleges in the United States. We're the largest college of nursing in the state of Tennessee. If we were in North Carolina, we'd be the largest college of nursing in the state of North Carolina. We've got tons of other really great programs too. Those are just kind of the probably top 3 or 4 most popular. As far as cost, this will show you like a general breakdown. If you're living in North Carolina, you've got an all-you-can-eat meal plan, you're living in one of our hotel or apartment style residence halls, you're going to look at somewhere right below $20,000 per year before any kind of financial aid or scholarships. We give out $33 million in scholarships annually, and that's the highest out of any public school in the state of Tennessee. And 92% of our students receive some sort of financial assistance. And you can learn more about that by going to etsu.edu/cost. So applying is easy. It takes about 10 minutes. You can do everything online. There is a $25 application fee. And for this year, we're test optional. So for fall 22, hopefully we're going to be test optional too. That decision has not been made yet, so stay tuned. But our minimum GPA is a 2.3 or a 19 on the ACT. You'll also need, or last year's average, was a 3.4 and a 24 on the ACT. And so my last slide, if you want to stay up to date with everything ETSU, definitely follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can check out our virtual tour at this URL. Or if you have questions, you can always shoot me an email or give me a call. And this is my number and direct line. But thanks for tuning in. I hope this was beneficial, and go Bucks.
Great. Thank you so much. So next on our schedule was the York College of Pennsylvania. They're not here just yet. If they show up, we'll squeeze them in at the end. But we will move on next to Sweet Briar College.
Hello, my name is Savannah, and I am so excited that you are here from Sweet Briar. And I want to share with you just a little bit more information about Sweet Briar and what we can offer you. So Sweet Briar is an all-women's college. We've always been all women. We are intentionally small, so your average class size is about 10 other students. You really get one-on-one attention. You get incredible access to your faculty. You're always going to be taught by faculty, not graduate students. We're very experiential, focused on hands-on learning, as well as liberal arts and getting a broad foundation. You don't have to apply to take classes outside of your major. You can do that and explore and just have fun. We are highly outcomes oriented. Despite being liberal arts, we know that students want to go on and get jobs. And within 6 months of graduation, 90% of our students are either gainfully employed or in graduate school. So we have incredible outcomes there. A lot of our students have jobs well before they graduate. They know where they're going to be working. And then we have an amazing, beautiful campus. This is one shot right there. Almost 3,000 acres, and that includes 18 miles of trails that you can go hiking and biking and horseback riding on. We do have an equestrian program, and I'll talk more about that later. We have about 20 different programs of study. So being a small college, we can't offer everything, but we really offer a fantastic education in the majors that we do have, as well as the opportunity to design your own major within these limitations. We also have a pre-med, a pre-vet, pre-law program. Our engineering program is ABET accredited. One of our graduates from the class of 2021 is now working in the Jet Propulsion Laboratory at NASA. She did that straight out of college from Sweet Briar. So lots of opportunities. 8 out of 10 of our students do internships. A lot of our students do more than one, and a lot of our students get their first job based on one of those internships because they just did an incredible job and were asked to come back and work for that company. 6 out of 10 of our students do research. A lot of that is done on our campus. A lot of that is done in conjunction with faculty. Many of them actually are published with faculty on papers before they graduate. So that is an incredible feat to be able to put on your resume as well and go on. Our phenomenal faculty are just one of the many awesome things about Sweetbriar. This is our pre-vet advisor. He is beloved on campus, but most of our faculty have the highest degree in their field, and they came to Sweetbriar to teach. They love teaching. That is first, we're not a published or Paris institution. Again, you're not going to be taught by graduate students. We do have a unique calendar. So we're 3/12, 12/3, beginning and ending the year with a 3-week period where you only take one course. So you really get to focus in on that and really go deep. The 12-week semesters are more of your standard college semesters where you take Monday, Wednesday, Friday courses, for example. We do guarantee housing all 4 years, lots of opportunities and places to live on campus, beautiful, sizable dorms, lots of different styles. Most of our first years end up in a double, but we do have double, single, some apartment styles. We have on-campus health center. We're even doing rapid testing there for COVID, but we've had very, very few cases, even though we've been in person all year and managed to have quite a lot of events throughout the year for our students to socialize both in person and virtual. We also have counseling service available. We recognize that mental health is just as important as physical health. And we have amazing dining on campus. Meriwether Gotzi is our dining service provider. We actually use some of the honey that comes from the apiaries that we have on campus to provide honey for the dining hall. It's also sold in our bookshop. We have about 20 hives on campus. So if you are interested in sustainable systems and how important the bees are to our food systems, you can become a certified beekeeper. We have vineyards on campus. No wineries, but we do have vineyards. So if you're interested in the science of viticulture or the business behind that, it's a great opportunity to learn more. And we also have a greenhouse on campus where we're growing most of our own produce. So you can sit in the dining hall and see where your greens are coming from. We have an equestrian program. It's literally on campus. You can walk to it from your dorm. About 50 school-owned horses, 130 acres just in this center itself. We have competition teams, but also if you wanted to just ride for fun or learn how to ride, you could. You can come in as a beginning rider. About a third of our students are horseback riders, and half of those are first-time riders. We have 7 varsity sports other than riding, so opportunities for that. We're a true Division III school. You don't have to worry about classes competing with your athletics. You're going to be able to play and not worry about that. We have lots of opportunities for co-curricular life. This is just a handful of some of the clubs that we offer on campus, but all of them are involved in community service and giving back. When all of this is over, we do have fantastic study abroad opportunities, and you'll be able to take advantage of those again, but pretty much anywhere you want to go that isn't war-torn will help you get there. Career services will follow you for life, and they are free for the rest of your life. So if 20 years after you graduate, you decide that you want to switch careers, you can work with career services for free for networking and resume help and all of those things. We are affordable. So we are a private institution, so our price tag looks a little bit higher up front, but I promise you no student is paying that. All students receive merit scholarships at the time they apply. The highest one goes up to $15,000 this year, which is 75% of your tuition covered right there. Need aid is based on the FAFSA, so please do fill that out. I encourage any student who hasn't done that to do so. We are open for visits. We'd love to see you. You can sign up for one of those online. We also have some visit assistance funds available to help you. We're also doing virtual things, and we are still accepting applications. No fee for us, and essays and recommendation letters are optional. So please let me know if you have further questions. I would love to be able to work with you, and I work with all of our students from North Carolina. So thank you so much. To chat with you later.
Great. Thank you so much. And next we will hear from Regent University. Hey, Bridget, you're just muted.
Sorry about that. My name is Bridget Miller. I'm from Regent University. I'm joined by my colleague Mackenzie here on the back end. I'm excited to share a little bit about Regent with you guys today. So we're a 4-year private Christian university. We're located in Virginia Beach, and we also have a lot of online programs as well. We are open right now to campus tours, and we welcome you to schedule a tour and see the gorgeous campus anytime throughout the entire year. We offer over 135 different programs of study, from associate's degrees all the way through doctoral programs. And for those students who desire to expand their knowledge using a more classical approach, we also have an honors college on campus as well. We have about 11,000 students at Regent total. 4,400 of those are undergraduates who are either taking classes online, living on campus, or commuting to campus from the local area. Our students do represent all 50 states, 90 different countries, and then 40 different denominations. So you can definitely say we have a diverse population here. About 90% of our full-time faculty, they hold the highest degree in their discipline, and many of them actively work still in their fields. So that gives you some real world experience to learn from. Our student to faculty ratio is 17:1. This gives you small classrooms, and it allows for our students to build lasting relationships with not only their peers, but to receive more personalized instruction from their professors as well. So we like to say that you will never get lost in a big lecture hall like you see in the movies. At Regent, we offer students many resources to ensure their success, whether you live on campus, whether you're a commuting student, or if you're studying online. One of my personal favorites is the Office of Career and Talent Management. Our students and alumni can receive professional help on their resumes. They can learn how to interview better. They can find internships and jobs after graduation. Our student housing is pretty great. It's all apartment style, so you have your own full kitchen within your residence hall. There is no required meal plan because of that, so that saves you a little bit of money. We do have free Wi-Fi, gym, and laundry in our residence halls, and we're tucked away on our own acreage. We're one of the top 5 safest campuses in the entire state of Virginia. All right, so we realize that figuring out the finances is a huge factor in which school you choose. At Regent, we're committed to making our education affordable. We're in the top 5% of the most affordable Christian colleges. 86% of our undergraduate students receive some sort of aid, and we have a number of institutional opportunities for aid and encourage our students to do the FAFSA to take advantage of that. You can also visit our website for our net price calculator. That's a good resource to break down the cost for you based on your individual circumstances. So we understand that your college experience involves every aspect of life. We have over 55 student-led organizations. That's everything from Surf Club, Moot Court, Student Activity Board, and everything in between. We have 9 collegiate sports, or NCCAA Division I. We also have club and intramural sports as well. And if you're interested in a military career, we offer several commissioning programs like ROTC or NPP or Marine PLC. All right, so as I mentioned, Regent is located in coastal Virginia Beach. We're about a 20-minute drive to the boardwalk. In the state of Virginia, there's 38 state parks and 21 national parks. So it's a perfect place to explore over the weekends. Virginia is also home to several historic sites, so places like historic Williamsburg, and we are only a few hours away from the Outer Banks and Washington, D.C. All right, so applications, you can apply online or call and speak with one of our admissions counselors to apply over the phone. It takes about 10 minutes for that application. And they can often waive the application fee if you do that over the phone as well. We operate on a rolling admission, so it's not even too late right now to apply for this coming fall if you're still looking for a home school. And in the chat, we will put our information and answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Next, we will hear from Carson-Newman University.
There we go. Hey guys, I'm Chris Miller coming from Carson-Newman University. We are a Christian liberal arts school, about a half-hour east of Knoxville. So if you're a North Carolina kid, it's going to be about an hour and a half from Asheville and about 2.5 hours from Spartanburg. Our application is free. There's no essay and we are test optional. If you have a 2.75 GPA, we don't require ACT or SAT scores to be reviewed for admission. If you're falling in that 2.2 to 2.75 range, we will need test scores to review for admission. If you're coming under that 2.2, there's just a couple extra steps, so don't be intimidated by that. Definitely still apply and explore your options. Definitely take this as one of the most important things out of the presentation. File your FAFSA early. Any school you're interested, please get their school code so that they receive your FAFSA and you can get the most financial aid from everybody. Our code is 003481. And if you ever need that, you can always just reach out to me and I can get it to you. Even though we are a private institution, we do accept federal aid. So if you're Pell eligible, and you'll figure out what that means if you don't know already, we take the SCOG grant. We are qualified to take subsidized and unsubsidized loan, as well as all the bajillion other federal aid programs that there are. Every student that is admitted receives a freshman merit scholarship. Just based on GPA, we can get you $6,000 to $10,000 per year. So it's not a front-loaded scholarship. If you want to qualify for our $12,000 to $14,000 recurring scholarship, we would need ACT, SAT. So I definitely recommend taking that if you are able to. Additional scholarship programs. Service is a big part of our community. Faith and Justice is a great service-based program. It is like a social community as well as a service community. They do a lot of like social mixers, overnight events, and all their service is faith-based. We are a Bonner school. So if you're interested in that, just let me know and I can get you the scholarship coordinator's information. Eagles Engage is a really easy scholarship to get. It's 20 hours, $1,000 a year, and that's open to pretty much anybody and everybody. We are NCAA Division II school. If you don't know about Division II, really the big perk being a D2 school is we can stack academic and athletic scholarships. We offer cheer and dance scholarships. We have like 20 sports programs ranging from like football, basketball, your traditional sports, but we also have a beach volleyball team, even though we're in East Tennessee. We also have a bass fishing team that's pretty legit. They're clubs, so you can get sponsorships and not have to abide by NCAA protocol, which is pretty nice. We offer scholarships for forensics and debate, film, theater, even if you don't major in those disciplines. Same goes for art and photography, music. If you want to study, business, but you also want to play in the marching band, you can get a scholarship for that. If you're a legacy, so if your parents went to Carson-Newman, there's scholarships. We have diversity scholarships. If your parents are ministers, there's a scholarship for that too. So pretty much whatever you are, there's bound to be at least 1 or 2 scholarships for you, which is pretty cool. We also offer CN grants. So if your parents say, oh, we're not, FAFSA eligible, we don't get any federal aid. We have a lot of institutional need-based grants where we get a lot more range on what we can consider need-based, which is nice. Any college you're interested in, please go see it. That's the best way to figure out if you're going to enjoy the campus and the culture there. We have showcase Saturdays for you guys that are coming from a little farther away. It's like an open house. It's a half-day event on a Saturday. The last one for spring is April 10th. I highly advise coming. Our football got moved to spring, so there's still like sport events happening, and we can get you admission to that for free, like a normal student. If you have any questions, please feel free to holler at me. My email is pretty simple. It's chrismiller@cn.edu. If you want to give me a shout, it's 865-471-2045. I can pretty much answer whatever question you have. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And lastly, we will hear from the DigiPen Institute of Technology.
Hey everyone, let me go ahead and share my screen. Excellent. So if you've never heard of DigiPen, hopefully you'll leave today's session with some more information. But again, if you are sitting there and scratching your head and you're wondering, well, what is DigiPen? We're a four-year private college out in Redmond, Washington. And we specialize in just a few areas: computer science, digital art and animation, game design and development, and music and sound design. And again, we're pretty close to Seattle. We're about 16 miles east. So again, all the way in the tippy top left of the country. I'm from Virginia myself, so I can totally understand that distance is kind of daunting, but again, we have a lot of excellent resources to help students. If you're not super familiar with the Redmond area, this is where a lot of really excellent companies that I'm sure a lot of us interact with on a daily basis are seated. So of course you have like Microsoft and Amazon and Facebook and Hulu and Twitter and Apple and literally hundreds of more companies. We're not going to spend all of our time today talking about it because we would have no more time left. But as far as game development is concerned, again, we have like Valve and Nintendo of America and Sucker Punch and Bungie and 343 and Microsoft Studios. And again, hundreds of more companies. And so it's really cool to be in close proximity with those companies. But what's even more impressive, again, is that's where a lot of our students go to work. These are companies that our students have worked at. We've been around for over 30 years now. And so as you can see here, the list is pretty big. We'd like to think that our students are pretty prolific in the industry. A few talking points: we were the first school in the world ever to offer a video game degree for programming. So we're pretty proud of that. Our average class size is around 20, and our graduates have helped ship more than 1,500 commercial games. So I always like to say, if you have a favorite game of all time, again, there's a really strong chance one of our students, or rather alumni, helped develop it. And as you can see down on the bottom, our students have been winning hundreds of awards, which is always exciting. Our students do really excellent things. But the one I will point out is we have been consistently ranked in the top 5 for game design by the Princeton Review for, I believe, now around 11 or 12 years. So we're really proud of that as well. As far as the degrees that we do offer, again, they fall under these categories. So whether you like to program or you like to draw art for video games or perhaps animations, or maybe you're a musician, we have something for you. And of course, how we teach at DigiPen is pretty unique as well. So of course we teach you the thing, like we're going to teach you the programming languages or how to, make really beautiful art or play your instrument professionally well. But how we have you, actually enforce those skills is on game teams. So as early as your first year, all the way through your 4 years with us, you're going to be on game teams making pretty much whatever you want to make within the context of your class. If you want to make a first-person shooter or a platformer or X, Y, and Z, again, you have that creative freedom to do so. And then by the time you graduate in 4 years, you're going to have an entire portfolio that demonstrates the work that you can do. So again, don't worry, like if you're like a programmer, you don't have to do the art, or if you're a musician, you don't have to do the programming, etc. Again, students from all different disciplines come together on these game teams to make excellent projects. As far as the 2021-2022 academic school year is concerned, our general application deadline is coming up on April 1st, but we are operating on a rolling admissions basis. So again, we're going to be taking applications throughout the academic year all the way through July. So no worries, you still have quite a few amount of months left. So you're good to go there. As far as what's required, we have some basics on the left-hand side here. But if you're interested in computer science, again, pre-calculus is going to be your best friend. It's required of all of our computer science degrees, with the exception of one, our computer science and game design. Artists do have a unique essay prompt, and then they also have an art portfolio. They have a Bachelor of Arts, Music, and Sound Design, so demonstrating proficiency with your instrument of choice. And then we also have a design portfolio as well. We have all like the nitty-gritty details on our website, so no worries. But if you do have any questions, again, I'm happy to answer any that you may have. As far as tuition is concerned, we are sitting at around $34,700 per academic year, but I'd like to say that there's light at the end of the tunnel there. Of course, we work with FAFSA, we have scholarships in-house, and we work with third parties as well. All students are automatically considered for the merit scholarship, which is again up to around $12,000 per year, but the average for all scholarships coming from DigiPen is around $8,000. Beyond that, we're also ranked in the top 1% of the entire country, which is ranking around 4,500 schools by a Georgetown University study that was for highest return on investment. So what that basically means is if you put X amount of money into tuition and get X amount of money out within 40 years, you made a wise investment. And we're sitting in the top 1%. So again, admittedly, we are more expensive than other public schools. But that all said, our students are, objectively speaking, making higher salaries out of the gate and throughout their careers. So we're really proud of that as well. We have lots of live online events all the time. Of course, we attend events like this one, but if you want to meet with us more like in our court, we have plenty of opportunities to do so. And in fact, if you're able to attend one of our online information sessions, that second point on the list, we're able to waive your application fee, which is typically $60. Beyond that, again, if you have any questions, just let us know. We're happy to contact or connect with you and really, again, assist you in any way we can. Again, meet us for an online event and we'll see you there. Thank you, everyone.
Great, thank you. So we do have about 15 minutes left. So I'm going to pose some questions to our panelists here. So our attendees and anyone watching the recording later on will be able to just hear a little bit more about each institution, maybe some stuff that they didn't hear during today's session. So I do invite all of our panelists, if you wouldn't mind, if you wouldn't want to turn your camera on so everyone can see it, but don't feel any pressure to if you wouldn't like to. But the first question I'm going to ask, giving everyone about 30 seconds to answer, is what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? Starting first with East Tennessee State University.
So my piece of advice would be to get out and tour as many colleges as you can, or at least if you've got like a short list of schools that you're really interested in, go out and see those schools if you can. I know COVID's kind of made that a little tough, but even if it's a virtual tour, if it's just getting onto the campus, even in like an unofficial capacity, it's always great to get out and see what the school you're interested in has to offer.
Great, thanks. Next, Sweet Briar College.
Yeah, I would definitely back up what Taylor said. And I think another important thing is to get in there and ask questions and build relationships. You want to find out what it's like to actually be a student there. If you're going to spend 4 years there, you want to know that they're going to be a happy 4 years. We want you to come to our school and be happy. We don't want you to transfer somewhere else. So get to know current students, ask to build relationships, ask to get to know faculty, and use those relationships and those people and how they treat you to help make that decision.
Great. Next, Regent University.
Hi, yeah, my advice would be to not tell admissions counselors or coordinators or whoever you're talking to, not just tell us what you think we want to hear. And that goes for interviews and essays. We can usually see through it right away. And our intention during the admissions process is to really get to know you as a student. So we want to hear more about really the real you.
Great. Next, Carson-Newman University.
Yeah, I think this is reflective of where we are in the cycle right now, but once you have your schools, follow through with them until you get every single aid offer, because you don't know what the school is going to offer you and what will be the best fit, at least financially. So yeah, just follow through.
Great. And lastly, DigiPen Institute of Technology.
Sure thing. I'll go ahead and just piggyback a lot of what has been said. Lots of really excellent advice being thrown out there. But yeah, advocate for yourselves, ask questions, and never stop asking questions. You're not bothering whoever you're speaking to, and it's your education. That's 4 years. It's a lot of money and it's a lot of time. Again, ask so many questions until you can no longer type. Like, it's okay. That's what we're here for. We're happy to help. And secondly, and just generally speaking, apply earlier than later if possible, because again, just more scholarship opportunities. So more money in your pocket is only ever a good thing, right? So.
Awesome. All great pieces of advice. Let's move on to our next question, which is going to be, what is your favorite event or tradition on campus or about your school? So we will start again with East Tennessee State University.
So my favorite event, I guess as a student and a staff member, would be like our homecoming, because we have a whole week where different student organizations compete in different events, everything from like banner drawing competitions. We have a Pride Walk that goes through the middle of our campus. It's almost like a big yellow brick road, but each student organization gets like a 10 by 10 square and they get to paint on it. So all that stuff, plus the football game and tailgating and all that fun stuff that goes into the big Saturday event with homecoming. So
awesome. Next, Sweet Briar College.
I love our alumni network. It's incredibly strong and incredibly close knit. And for example, I know of someone who moved to Georgia right after she graduated. She posted on Facebook that she was moving to Atlanta and she was barraged by the alumni in the area asking her if she needed help apartment shopping or just wanted to go out for coffee or needed help finding a job. And, literally just had so many offers that there was no way she could even answer them all. And that's just an example of how much our alumni love our students and want to help them.
Awesome. Thank you. Next, Regent University.
Yeah, mine would be, it's called commissioning, which is a separate ceremony on top of the graduation ceremony in which the dean of your specific college has like a one-on-one session with you and prays over you before you go into the graduation season. So.
Great. Thank you. Next, Carson-Newman University.
Yeah, I would say my favorite like tradition would be the freshman girl dorm is called Burnett Hall, and they do what's called Boonette during Halloween, and each floor does a theme. And so campus, but also like the community members will go. So little kids will go trick or treat, and all the girls are dressed up in like Mario Kart themed or whatever. So that's what I look forward to in the fall.
Great. And lastly, DigiPen Institute of Technology.
Sure thing. We have a lot of cool events, but one that just immediately sticks out to me is every single year we attend PAX. Of course, this past year was a unique situation with the COVID situation. However, traditionally, so PAX, if you're not familiar, imagine like approximately 100,000 people in a Seattle building that are just really jazzed about video games in the industry. And we have an entire booth dedicated to our students, and so they can show off their games, and it's like what's happening like in the industry, and it's a lot of good opportunities to professionally mingle for our students, which is cool.
Awesome. One last question that I'll pose is, give an interesting or fun fact about your school. So we will start up at the top again with East Tennessee State University.
So we have a fairly strong digital media program with digital animation and digital visual effects. And so the last few Marvel movies or Lucasfilm movies that have came out, everything from like Captain America through like Endgame or The Last Jedi through The Mandalorian, we've had alumni that have worked on them. And so it's really cool to have that kind of connection, and they'll actually play some of those movies on campus, and at the end they'll pause and kind of point out all the ETSU alumni that have worked on those. So that's kind of a cool thing about ETSU.
Awesome. Next, Sweet Briar College.
I went over this briefly already, but we do have a 27,000 square foot greenhouse on campus that was recently completed. So our students are able to get hands-on experience in there, and then we are growing almost all of our own produce there, save for, tropical fruits and things like that. And so we are highly sustainable and very, very local, and just working to use as much of our campus as possible towards sustainable solutions agriculturally and in other ways.
Awesome. Next, Regent University.
Yeah, so we started as a graduate communications school in broadcasting. And if you guys have ever heard of the 700 Club, that is actually broadcasted and filmed on our campus.
Great. Next, Carson-Newman University.
Yeah, it's been a little different this year because of COVID, but our campus is haunted. So it's a pretty old campus. It's pre-Civil War, but like the admissions building is haunted. Some of the dorm residents are haunted. So if you ever get to come to campus, definitely ask about our friends from the next dimension that live here.
Fun. And lastly, we'll go to DigiPen Institute of Technology.
Yeah, sure thing. So I touched on this a little bit earlier, but again, we were founded in 1988. Actually, our founder is also a co-founder of Nintendo Software Technology as well. So again, we've been around for 30 odd years now. And like I spoke to you earlier, we've had alumni work on over 1,500 games now and counting all the time. Like I always like to say, if you have a favorite game, like one of our alumni probably worked on it, like all the Call of Duty games, Halo, League of Legends, like if you've heard of it, like our alumni are probably involved with it, which that's only a testament to how excellent they are. So we're always really proud of them.
Great. Thank you so much. I want to start by thanking our panelists today for taking some time out of their day to speak to you all. This is the end of our session. So to our attendees, thank you as well for joining us. If you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A now. We have a couple minutes left, so our panelists would be happy to answer those. If not, feel free to head out. When you do close the window, there'll be a very quick 4-question survey, and we'd really appreciate if you could fill that out so we can hear your feedback, and we're always looking to make improvements. So we'd appreciate that. There are no more events or hour sessions tonight, but there are some more Carolinas or CACRAO events coming up. So feel free to check out strivescan.com/Carolinas for more. And recordings of this session, as well as all sessions from tonight, will be available at that same website, strivescan.com/Carolinas. So I'd like to thank everyone again, and we'll leave the chat open for a few more minutes. So feel free to post any questions. Alrighty, guys, it looks like we had one attendee remaining for that last section, and they headed out. So I'm going to end the session a little bit early. Thank you again for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. And you'll get your leads from tonight's session either tomorrow or early next week, and the recording will be up as well soon. So thank you all and have a great night.
Thanks. Take it easy.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.